Okay. What I did is I used a wood burner to cut down all these pieces. They're going to be 10 by 10 inch. I have 12 white, 6 pink, and 6 purple. As you can see, it probably would have been better to use a foil, so it would have been shiny, the white also, but I didn't have that. What you're going to do is you're going to fold it from corner to corner. Make sure it's even. Scrunch up in the middle. I'm going to have this. Bring it up. Take your zip tie. Zip tie it around. What you can do is start it. Pinch it back together. Bring it through. Try to make sure all your pieces are even. Do another one. You're going to do all your pieces this way. You could use pipe cleaners, but it's not going to hold it as securely. So I like to use zip ties. Like I said, make sure that it's even. You might want to fluff up some of your sides depending on how they look. Most of the time it's going to come out right the way you want it. Close your last zip tie. The reason why I use a wood burner to cut these pieces is so that way you have as minimal fray as possible. You don't want to spend all your time making this wreath and then it end up fraying apart, because that would upset you. When you get done, you're going to take a pair of wire cutters, cut the ends off. Make sure they're good and tight. Don't worry, you can pick up all your pieces later. You have the cross wreath form. What I did was took wire cutter, or not wire cutters, I'm sorry. I took wire cutters and cut all these in half, but they're pipe cleaners. I chose to use pipe cleaners because I figured that once we add our floral attachment at the end, it would be a nice touch for it to stick to. You'll see when we get to that point. It doesn't matter what color. You probably would prefer to use white if you have a choice about it. Or you could go with what you have. I'm sure it will work out fine. You're not going to be able to see it in the end. Take and you can fluff up some of your pieces. Choose the color that you'd like to start with. You could do this in pink and white. You could do it in purple and white. You could just do it in white if you would like. You're going to take, though, and stick your first one to the end. Put it in between the form. Tie the pieces. And you can bend it around the side. It's just going to be something nice for your floor attachment to be able to stick to. Next you can go with white. I would alternate all your colors. Try to pick the side that fluffs up and looks better. I would suggest being careful as possible with your form because I have an issue with a lot of them coming apart. And I do what I can by hot gluing them together. Anything I can to you can solder them together, that would be great. If you have the soldering wire. Most of the time your wood burner is a soldering tool also. And then you can just pull these down in the middle so that way your colors show good. You can switch it up and go with a different color scheme on the sides. Or you can go with the same, doesn't matter. I'm going to switch it up and go with the purple first. You're going to try to tie it as tight as you can without creating too much friction for the form and it falling apart on you. This wreath form is from the Dollar Tree, so if I'm not mistaken, it's 24 inches long, 12 inches wide on it in the middle, right here. I just think the pink adds a nice touch to it. Go to the other side, do the same. Since you started with your purple, stick with your purple. See? You have a good base so far. Now for the bottom. Since we started with pink at the top, you're going to, and I went ahead and pre-made all my pieces so it doesn't take as long and you're prepared. But we'll start with the pink. Always try to stick it into the wreath form at the bottom if you can, so that way it doesn't stick up as much when you put the next piece on. Tries to lay flush a little better. Pink, white. Usually if you tie it over twice, that's usually fine. Here with your purple. Sorry, my piece of glass is still here. Yeah, use your glass on your self-healing mat when you're cutting your pieces so that way you can prevent it from melting. That sounds crazy, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that have done it not knowing. Because they watch this video and no one explains to them what could happen. It's easy to see and think that you can do what someone's doing, but till you get to that position, you never really know. Go back with the pink. White. Purple. Always look at your piece and see which side you feel like would look prettier. This side, I feel like. For each section, you're gonna do the same thing for your color scheme, so that way it doesn't come out looking crazy. Try to stick the bottom down in between the wreath frame if you can. Wreath form, rather. Try not to squish your pieces if you can prevent it. It's going to be kind of hard too because of your layout. But you can always adjust later though. This side looks better. Try to have your zip tie right on the other side of your pipe cleaner if you can do that, so that way it'll have a tighter hold on each piece. Alright. This is going to be pretty large, so you're going to make sure you have somewhere to put it at. Try to straighten up all your pieces. See? So far this is what... Sorry. See, so far this is what you have. Alright, for your next part, you're going to need some floral. And when I mean floral, I mean flowers that you usually put for graves, artificial flowers. So we have a whole bunch of different colors here: yellow, blue, white, baby's breath, lilies. I also have some roses. As you can see, pick which flower you're wanting for your center, and then you can start taking the pieces apart and working your way down. I would suggest laying all your flowers out, looking at them, comparing, seeing which ones you feel like would look the best, which is what I'm going to do, and then I will be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I have started with the flowers that I have. I took a whole bunch of them, cut them down to, you know, enough of the wire hanging out the bottom that you can still grab a hold of it and glue it in somewhere. I started with a pink, went to a purple, went to a blue. I'm going to try to see how I can put in some of my white here. What I do is take a hot glue gun And you'll have to excuse my hot glue gun here because it's not the best, but hey, it works. You're just gonna go and you're gonna glue it in next to the rest of the pieces. Let me bring this up a little bit so that way you can actually see me gluing it. And I have some different pieces of like baby's breath. I'm going to take and add a white piece right here. And like I said, you'll have to excuse my hot glue gun here because it hasn't been working the best here recently. And then I got some new glue for it, and I don't think the new glue is fitting the way that it's supposed to. So that's probably half of my problem right there. There it goes. Now once you get your glue on the end of it here, you gotta put it in place. All you have to do is just take and put in there, swirl it a little bit, and I promise it's gonna stay because once you turn it a little bit, it's getting in all your crevices and edges. Alright, let's go with well, let's go with some more purple. I think the purple looks good. And it doesn't take much glue at all, obviously. I think that looks great. You can always move it around a little bit and see how you like it. Where you like it, rather. Have some of these pretty pink tulips right here that I might try to piece some of them in. Or I have this pretty purple, which I think might be too big for right there. I also have these yellow lilies that I think might actually look really nice right there. You want all your pieces to kind of stay in the same position that you originally put them in. If not, then you're going to have some to come out and not be the way you wanted them to be. Let me try to fix this glue gun real fast. Okay, well, I got that little issue fixed for right now. It's obviously time for a new glue gun. And I didn't really feel like having to buy any extra things I usually don't use for this project, so I'm making do with what I got. Okay, so we have your yellow in here, purples, pink, baby's breath, daisies, I think bachelor buttons, all kinds of pretty pieces here. And let's see how this looks here. I think that looks fun. I'm going to put this piece right here. can always fluff your pieces up at the end also, because more than likely you're probably going to have to. I'll put some of this in here. Have some of these little white flowers from these daisies. I think it looks pretty good so far. Let's add some more pink. Some of this pretty, it's almost like Worcestershire vibe. Not sure what it's called. Wisteria vine, I believe is what it's called. Oh. If you don't drop any of your glue on your actual pieces here. I'm just trying to dip the end of it in glue and stick it. You can spread out some of your pieces at the end, make sure that it looks the way you'd like it to. I like the white, so I'm going to put some more of the daisies in. I think the white brings it all together. I almost forgot. I have some of these also. You put in a single piece before I start adding a whole bunch of them to incorporate them into the flower. Incorporate them into your wreath, rather. But you do want some green. Without your green, you end up with just flowers. Everybody needs a little bit of green. You can take your purple, and add it in. You need to figure out what you want your middle to be also. Whether you want it to be roses or so you can put some roses in there, see what that looks like. You have to have more, of course. So I think the roses look really good. You have to piece them together to make them look right, which isn't a problem. Or I have these flowers that I can put in. I don't know how much I like the dark purple as I did the roses though. So here's what we're gonna do. Make sure none of your glue drips onto your wreath where it's noticeable. I put those in the bottom there. Make sure that you save one of them for middle to make sure that it looks right. I'm just sticking these down into little loops kind of that were left over after we folded our mesh in half. Yes. Yay. That looks pretty. That looks big and full. I think I'll go with these. Oops. That looks pretty, but I feel like the last one should be in the middle. So I have plenty of wire. I'm pulling all these off the wire. All of these off the wire, I mean. So what I'm probably gonna do is glue this in the middle somehow. Probably stick it to the leaves that are down in there. If you just stick it in, it's going to stay. I have one extra rose, so I'm going to try to push in somewhere. Which, I wish I had one more to make this the way I would like it to be, but I think that looks good. Roses look good. See? Alright, so we're going to take one of these, put in here. I think brings it together and makes it look good. You can always take some more of your single pieces like this. The flowers that you like the most, the colors you like the most. And I'll stick it to your glue, but some of the extra off and bring them in and glue them in different places. So that way you have some more of the colors that you like. You can fix any of your mistakes that way also. I'll just take and put some glue on your end. And here I'm lift up any of your pieces. Stick in. And it's gonna do fine, I promise. I get so worried that it's gonna come out not looking right because that can prevent you from wanting to do something that you like to do. Don't let it stop you, because you got this. I still want to add my tulips in somewhere. Not really sure where I'm going to add those out just yet, but I'm going to figure it out. Alright. See if that'll stay. Okay. It's a shame that I don't have anywhere for these pretty purple flowers. Actually, I might just fit them in right there. That would be a nice touch. Wait and see about that. Okay. So, from looking up from the top, this is what your wreath looks like now. See? Your center. Now you can turn it around. You're going to have glue strength everywhere. It's to be expected. It's alright. You can start from the top. Work your way down. Depending on what you started with on that side, you might want to start with the same thing on this side, which for me was this pretty pink bachelor's button with like a pink baby's breath type of flower. I'm going to stick it on my little loops right there. I think that it looks nice. Take some of these. Incorporate it anywhere you want to inside of your mesh, as long as it will stick to a crevice, a wrinkle, a corner, and stay. Which hence is why we have the hot glue gun to help with that process. Which we also have some pretty purple flowers here. I'm just going to do my best to cut them down, make them stay, make them any way I could that would help keep them in place. Pretty purple here. Alright, I'm going to find any best looking tulips and glue on it, let it start running. Stick it in right there. I want to make sure it stays. So. Some pretty flowers here. Alright, that one's not going to stay right there. So. Let's try a different one. Try something that's pretty white. And I got some pretty purple. Or what I could do is put this in here somewhere. So if it sticks, if not, we'll take it out because I almost forgot that I had something I wanted to put there. I wanted to incorporate another lily in here. Which I'm sure would look great right here. Right. Got that done. Now we have to do our sides here. Alright, let's try. This pretty pink tulip right here. Then, Wednesday before, put it right down in that loop. There. Try one on this side. So that way, you got something to start them on each side. Alright. I have some that's pretty purple here. So we have two of them, which is good. Because more than likely, you're going to want to try to be symmetrical on one side as you are the other. What you put on there, you can take and bring it this way some. Just remember you stuck it in the white on that side, right underneath the tulip. Do the same on this side. You have to try to turn it a little bit so that would go towards your tulip. Alright. I think that these flowers right here would look good. Some of these pretty purple ones also, but these flowers are the ones I'm talking about. Which this blue one's a little different, so let's try these. Add some more white daisies. I think we have too much purple going on here. Alright. If you feel like you need more flowers, you can put more flowers. I feel like I need a little bit more blue there, which I'm sure this is going to look good. Your daisies show real good right there though. I want the blue to take over all the white. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Also take some more purple. And then, alright. So now you have this right here. That's what it's going to look like from the top, from the front. And I will show you a picture of it on the door also.